We're live.
Greetings, Planeteers. The power is yours to watch Toons Up North, Nerdy Up North's premier cartoon show. I am joined as always by my cartoon co-host Paul. How are you doing, sir?
I'm not bad, and I've noticed we're not joined by a little Lee today, so Lee's not with us, bless him. But thank you, Lee, for joining us last week.
Yeah. Thanks to all of our guests, they've all been very polite and stuff.
Mhm.
I think they could do with being less polite and butt in more and stuff like that. Like we would do if we went on their shows.
Just take over, saying, "This is my time now, bitches." Um,
Yeah.
don't give Lee any more ideas. Jesus Christ. Him and his top grumps partner in crime. Jesus. What
Oh,
cartoon can I get
I've been
Chris on?
enjoying those. Yeah, I mean, Chris likes plenty of stuff. He likes most of all the same stuff I do, really. So yeah, we can get them on.
I'll get them on.
It's easy.
Oh,
He wants to talk about Dragon Ball, and Lee does as well. We'll hit it one day.
I'll have the night off. Just let them two rabble on about that today.
No, you need to watch it. You need to be like the everyman who watches who,
It's like
who
going for
gets
the
the first who
oh,
gets the first taste of Dragon Ball Z.
bless. Talking about time off though, because Jake, the legend that he is going on holiday. How dare he?
um, yep, I'm flying to Gran Canaria,
As we
and
speak,
boy,
he's
will
on the
I be
airplane
tired.
recording as we speak.
No, that's not true. I'm not going till like the 8th or something.
Sadly, so this will be the last
uh,
Tunes episode for a while until Jake comes
yeah,
back.
yeah. We're gonna go on hiatus because it seemed like the right time to have a little bit of a summer, early autumn break and stuff. Just because, like, not that we've ran out of cartoons to watch or
Mm-hmm.
anything, but breaks are always good, and we can come back with something strong. There's been talks about hitting some like Batman for
Mm-hmm.
a big episode when we come back. So
Very cool.
yeah, but so I feel like it is fitting since we've been talking around Captain Planet for so long, like on the channel,
Mm-hmm.
that we finally dig into it and finally figure out what makes Captain Planet and the Planeteers tick.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had this stupid action figure on my desk since like we started Nerdy Up North pretty much. He's popped up on a few different streams. And he always gets the ire of everyone being like, "Ah, Captain Planet, you suck." And it is a rubbish action figure, I will give you that.
Yes.
Um, but in the TV show, I still think he's pretty awesome.
I have to give you credit because I'm probably been the worst culprit of giving the Planeteers and Captain Planet shit since we were introduced or even started talking about Captain Planet many moons ago. I think it came up on
Yeah.
a podcast so long ago, but
It was
uh,
quite famous, but not also like not famous at the same time. Like
mm,
that's the weird thing about it when I was trying to think back. I was like, it was only ever me. Like I didn't know anyone else that watched it or had like a toy or anything.
it,
So I think it just became one of those like punchline shows.
it is a hard sell when you're going to kids like, oh yes, you need to watch this cartoon. It's about saving the environment and
Yeah.
like all the like the danger and like excitement. Like if you put Captain and Planet up against say the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, kids are going to choose the turtles.
He
Um,
seems lame by
so,
comparison, you're right.
but I do think after watching these two episodes, I've been quite surprised because I was expecting to fucking hate it. I was expecting to come on in here going,
Yeah.
"This is the most boring, most like political, like or like over the top,
Preachy.
preachy type of show in the world." But no, it actually done really well. It had rules. It built a
Yeah.
law. Like it had like it explained itself so well, but it didn't actually treat the audience like they were stupid as well.
No.
Yeah, it had its cheesy moments, but with a cartoon like this, you're going to get cheesy moments. You can't like walk past that. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
everything that else like to go with it, like as I said, they kept like say certain rules to the cartoon, which I think is very important when you're doing these type of cartoons. Like because if you make
Yes.
something too powerful or too unspoken, because imagine like these teenagers having the power of all these elements, they could have been unstoppable. They could have took over the world, but they
Yeah.
kind of grounded it and like made like certain rules, so it kind of they were beatable. They were like
Yeah.
And I quite like that. Like there was a bit of innocence, a little bit of naivety, but I thought it was honestly more now as an adult. I'll probably appreciate more, but I wouldn't have. I would have fucking. I can understand why I hated this as a kid, though.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those weird shows, right? Because it's like, like today when people complain like, oh, the like Marvel is too preachy, like, oh, the Captain Marvel movie is too like preachy.
Mhm.
Like they're sort of describing something, and like this show is exactly what people are describing. And it sort of flew under the radar and didn't get much attention.
Mhm.
But like this is like the woke show to end all woke shows. Like it literally talks to the camera like multiple times about like environmental issues and
Mhm.
like
How
you say
you can change it too.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's very much like, the whole like power rings, being like stronger together, like that's how you summon Captain Planet
Mhm.
when you combine your powers, like that's the only way to save the world,
I do
children.
have to admit, when Captain Planet got involved, and I know that like it's weird
Yeah,
saying this, a cartoon about Captain Planet, I wasn't as invested as I was with the kids. I thought Captain Planet,
yeah.
you can go away. I don't really like you. You're
He's
quite annoying.
when I was watching the second episode we watched, it finally like dawned on me like this is a Sentai show, like a Power Rangers thing.
Hmm.
And he's like the Mechazord, like
Hmm.
that the call in at the end where it's like, yes, he's an important part of the show and like, important part of the marketing and the toys and stuff, but like he's not in a lot of the episode. He just shows up at the end to do like the big fights and then he like disappears again. He's kind of like the giant robot or something
Yeah,
in a
I
Sentai
like the
show.
robot analogy, but they try to give him a personality, and I was like, well, he's only really alive when you combine all the powers. So that
Yeah, where is
existence,
he the rest of the
yeah,
time?
that existence must be quite daunting or lonely. But again, he's always the
Possibly.
Mister Positivity. Like, he's never down.
Yeah.
But
I guess he is he is the Earth, I guess.
mm,
Like I guess when he's not formed, he must just be part of everything.
mm.
Because he like comes out of the water and then like plants grow into him and stuff. So I guess he is like the power of the planet personified. But yeah, you're right. He's just kind of like a weird pixie man who flies around and he's like makes puns. But like his power set, it possibly is similar to like someone like maybe not a Superman, but like in that kind of
Mhm.
like power of flight, maybe a Wonder Woman. He might be like on that level of
Yeah,
strength.
I would put him up there with Superman, but like when it comes to weaknesses, he's got so many though. When it comes to it,
he just
yeah,
he just smoke a cigarette next to him. He's
yeah,
like,
it's like oh, just throw pollution at you for a little bit and see what happens. Um,
oh, I was well happy when Toxic Waste showed up. We've been watching cartoons for like weeks now, and this is the first time Toxic Waste has shown up because in the 90s it was everywhere.
mm,
Uh, when I was watching this, that did make my mind flick over. I was like, "There's a Toxic Avenger cartoon we should probably watch as well at some point."
I love the Toxic Avenger cartoon. I think I've got the I've got the pop figure of him somewhere. Might be.
It was so gross, wasn't
It's up
it?
there now.
And
But
I know it's movies, but like as a kid, that was the only way I saw any Toxic Avenger or anything.
yeah, there's a new one coming out. It's not been given a release
Yeah,
date, but it's got some an impressive cast as well. Like I think Peter
yeah.
Dinklage is supposed to be in it as well. Elijah
The
Wood,
guy who makes the guy who makes those movies, like the is it Trauma, I think the
Trauma.
company's
Yeah.
called. Yeah, he's a very eccentric, but
Hmm.
as we were saying on like the previous like Ramblecast, like it's nice to have like an eccentric artist who's just dotting about. Like maybe the stuff isn't the best, but like I think we need a few people like that. Like a few people making weird toxic adventure horrible movies.
So what you're saying, we need a Toxic Avenger spin-off of the Nerdy Up North podcast, going wild and manic. But
Oh,
that's just basically Top Grumps, so
possibly.
isn't it?
Yeah, it could be. Like we just need to dump some toxic waste on the top grumps and see what happens.
Go full RoboCop, like things. I'm melting, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, like so yeah, like Captain Planet, apparently if you cover him in goo, he'd and block his like sundial
hmm.
thing. he can't absorb the sun rays.
Yeah.
So he's Superman adjacent.
Well, it's a
But
pretty
maybe he's
shit
a bit.
power though, because if you think about it, he's got like a giant bullseye in his chest. He's just flying
Yeah,
out, going like sticking his chest out, saying, "Do not cover this, because this will harm me." And it's like,
yeah, and it's like, and so he's very easy to take out. But if he's left to his own devices, like
mm-hmm.
he threw like that mech thing around. He was like punching it,
Yeah.
and so yeah. So maybe like, but yeah. So it was interesting seeing that kind of thing because I'd forgotten most of this show. Like if I'm honest, like I knew that I really liked the animation because there's
Mm-hmm.
like some really cool shots of like things like when he uses the firing and the road melts. I remember really liking looking at that as a kid, like thinking like
Mm-hmm.
that's a really cool like bit of animation. um, but yeah, like I like the sound effects as well. Like the rings make that kind of weird like,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, oh yes, stuff's happening.
I
Um,
I did like the
but yeah,
origin story for this as well, because like when you said which
yes,
episodes to watch, you went for the number one, which I think was a good choice for the ones to pick.
yeah,
We got quite a cool origin story, which didn't linger too long. So I think
no,
what a lot of modern day cartoons or shows would have done, you would have got an episode per character, like introducing them,
maybe,
or that's probably how they would have done it differently. But it kind of just give you
but
a short little punchy
yeah.
response, and we got introduced to Gaia straight away. And I've totally forgot about Gaia as an when it, like as part of this, and not realizing how like hot Gaia was as a cartoon.
I
Uh,
did like the cartoon starts and she's just like, ah. You're like, hang on a sec. That is one thing I will say about this show. The voice actors and the script writers were having a lot of fun with this. Like they were not taking it too seriously at all. But I think the animators probably were, like, and then they've just like injected comedy like over the top of it for the most part. But yeah, so yeah, she like apparently was asleep for like a century, and she was like, "Ah, I probably slept too long." Well, the humans couldn't have done messed up the earth that bad, right? And then sees 1990 as we're like burning all the fossil fuels and nuclear power is being developed. And she's like, "Oh no, I better call the Planeteers. I better find like 5 teenagers with no attitude." Actually, that's not true. They had to have some attitude.
But
But yeah,
there was
she's
definitely
like
one of
the
them that was a
Zordon
dick. One of them was a dick, though. Like let's be
Wheeler.
honest, he was a bell end. But yeah,
Uh, right? Can we remember all of the characters? So Wheeler is the American, and
yeah,
he's basically the guy from like Streets of Rage or Final Fight. Apparently, he's just like fighting thugs in an alleyway when he gets like transported.
he was a typical
Um,
ginger. To be fair, though, wasn't he? He was just like an angry ginger kid,
yeah.
thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm all cool." But his introduction was a little bit weird as well, though. That was quite fun.
Sorry,
Uh,
yeah, that's what I was saying. He was like a Streets of Rage guy.
uh,
He was like in the back alley, like fighting thugs, and then he just got like zipped to
mhm.
Hope Island. I think I can remember all the names. So there's Kwame, who
Yep.
was like he was like farming and stuff. So like that's his interest.
Hmm.
Uh, I think was the surfer girl who was like one with the sea life. Linka, the Soviet Union girl, and they're very clear that it's the Soviet Union and not Russia.
Yes,
Uh,
that was the big thing as well there.
and Kwame is no, sorry, Matty
Mhm.
is the
So,
little. I mean,
yeah,
he is a bit Jungle Book in the intro
yeah.
for some reason.
He had a little monkey, but that, like I say, the monkey was like the kind of like the highlight. But what it was called? Oh, where was he from? He was South America, wasn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had Gia from Asia.
Yep.
Gia, so that was cool.
Linka.
Linka, yeah.
Oh, actually, Wheeler was from the Bronx as well, wasn't he? Or Brooklyn, something. I'm pretty sure he was from wherever Spider-Man is.
It was like
He might
it
be Spider-Man.
could be Spider Man. It could be an alternative Spider Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So that was so
But
yeah.
yeah,
So
I
Kwame.
think we got them. I
Yeah.
think we got them all. But like, what did you think of the cast? Because like, they were a lot more sassy than I remembered. Like, except for Kwame, who was kind of like the sort of voice of reason of the group. Like he's like the adult.
I thought it was interesting. Like I say, all the powers kind of made sense. The Métis,
Yes.
the power of heart was like, you're the one with the best power, the most power. I was like, Oh, you had to go down that
As
route,
a
didn't?
kid, as a kid, I thought Heart was the worst,
Yeah.
but after watching this, I'm like, hang on, Heart is like Professor X mind powers apparently. And then also in the second episode we watched, he could talk to the animals, and it's like, hang on, like Heart's like just all around like telekinesis or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, it was actually way more useful than I thought as a kid because I definitely remember thinking like, well, I want the fire ring, of course. Like, if I had to pick one.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you think about it as a kid, I didn't want the fire because I don't know why. I should have it because like anyone listened to the
It would
podcast
be
before,
dangerous.
I am the most pyrotechnic part of Nerdy Up North. I have literally tried to set fire to everything, even water. Uh, to go back to a few episodes to hear that story. Um, but no, I probably did like the water one because I always thought the water one was like quite powerful, and the way it was
Mm.
portrayed on the show as well, it was like the most interesting. Like she was given the ring by a fucking dolphin.
Oh
How cool was that?
yeah, yeah, I forgot about
All the others kind of just found the rings or and like just stuck it on. But
yeah,
a dolphin give her a ring. That's just class.
I forgot about that where it was like everyone got shown the ring like in a different way. Like Kwame was like digging in the dirt and then it came up on the stick.
Hmm.
Um But yeah, definitely as a kid, I would have been like, yeah, firepower is probably cool. Because I mean, I didn't want like wind power because
That
that's
because,
pretty boring.
but to be
You
fair,
can't
like
even
the
see that.
yeah, the wind power that it just all she seemed to do was build up tornadoes. That's all she seemed to do,
Yeah.
and that was and she couldn't even handle that. That was the thing. Earth one seemed
Yeah.
quite cool. That one seemed quite an
Yes.
interesting one.
Earthquake Man. Yeah, that would be pretty good.
But I think
But he was like, I can use this to plant so many trees, and it's like, you are a good kid because I think most people would be like, I can use this to like wreck shop.
yeah, but as you said, when the only thing that did like seem a little bit sus because it didn't really explain is basically they've got given the rings. They're all
Yeah.
around the world and they give them rings. They suddenly just appeared at the treehouse.
Yeah, so Gaia must have like teleport powers in
Yeah.
addition to being the spirit of the earth, which is pretty interesting. She's pretty powerful. She also has like TV screens and some tech in her house on Hope Island.
Yeah.
It's a very like high tech show, which is quite nice to see.
Hmm.
That was probably why I liked it as a kid because there's a lot of like mechs and like machines and stuff
Hmm.
to look at, which I always do like when animators can make like interesting robots and stuff. It's a skill.
It's kind of
Um,
like it was like hidden as well. It was like modern, but it was also like blended in, so you kind of
yeah.
didn't question it in a way. I wouldn't have questioned it as a child. I'd probably question it now as
Oh
an
yeah.
adult, but it didn't bother us that much. The fact is, she just kept on getting lazy and falling asleep every so often. That was always quite annoying. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Aye, pillow princess.
but for someone who's the spirit of the earth and all these powers, you'd think she could have looked after herself a little bit more. But she sent these teenagers out to do the fighting, which
Yep.
again.
And just like there's no time to practice because Hoggish Greedley is
How
is
amazing
going
is
nuts.
Hoggish Greedley? Sorry.
He was so funny.
But the thing is, though, with the character so cartoonish like that, and again, impressive. Um,
Cartoonishly evil as well. Like there's no redeeming qualities of
no,
any of the bad
100%
guys.
not. One thing I did love about him as well that didn't make him stupid. I know he's had a little
No, no.
sidekick where a
Yeah.
character like that, you could have just been, oh, he's dumb. He's a dumb fuck. That's why he's doing this. No, he was just
Yes.
greedy and evil. But he like when he get introduced to the Planeteers initially, he instantly thinks them are enemies. I'm going to attack. Not to say, oh,
Yeah,
there's
he's
these
like,
guys.
it's like, looks like some do-gooders. Let's squirt oil at them immediately.
So he powers them down, and then like say the gang kind of fumble the way through like getting the spaceship or spacecraft, flying
Yeah,
machine.
you had. Yes, they do have a little like a Quinjet sort of like Fantasticar thing, don't they?
Mhm.
Hopefully it runs on clean energy. But yeah, Hoggish Greeley's got like a walking like spider crab mech with
Mm.
like claws and like oil pipes and everything.
So if
It's
anyone's ever seen
pretty...
Wild Wild West with Will Smith, it's
Mhm.
and the bad guy, what's he called? Kenneth Branagh's character. He creates a
Mhm.
giant spider machine. It's a fucking
Yep.
smaller version of that, but it sucks the
Yeah,
oil
yeah.
out of the world.
More tech, less steampunk.
Yes.
So yeah, this is where we get our first dose of like he's created an oil slick and all the sea animals are covered in oil, which does really happen in real life.
Yes.
And they're like, we have to save the walruses. But yeah, like, so as you said, Paul, like on their own, and this is the first mission, they can't really do a lot. They kind of get the runaround.
Mhm.
He like squirts them with crude oil, and then like, and then like every second we waste, he's polluting the ocean even more. And it's like, well, why don't we put our rings together? Because Gaia is cheeky at the start, and she's like, if you ever get in real trouble, just put your powers together, and then you'll see some serious shit.
but
She doesn't say that, but
but it goes
like
dark.
it's a good tease though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like for later on in the episode.
It is, but it goes dark pretty quick as well because you think, oh, it's about saving the environment, saving like
Mhm.
being all goodies. You think Hogus Gradley's not really going to go too far with certain things.
Yeah,
When he realizes he's not going to beat the Planeteers with sheer force firing at them, he
yeah,
turns the gun, the pollution gun, towards the innocent animals. Like
yeah,
that was like brutal for a cartoon. I was like, wow.
yeah. He's basically like, and later on he tries to, I'm assuming murder Captain Planet, and I'm assuming that's the first time he's ever seen him before. And he's just like, "How about I squirt you with toxic waste?" As far as he knew, it was like it could have been a regular guy in that suit. But
Mhm.
yeah, like he's got his little, like you said, his sidekick who's called Rigger
Mm.
apparently. So I guess he must be his oil based sidekick, like oil rigs. Get it? But he was like a little hillbilly Beavis guy, wasn't he? He was just like,
Mm.
yeah, um, but yeah, so we get the little tease being like, oh, what we gonna do? And then they finally put the rings together and we get the whole like Captain Planet transformation where he like flies out of the earth. You
Mhm.
get like a rocking guitar solo every time he comes in as well. Like, and I'm just like, hell yeah. Um,
But we,
yeah, like we say, just he comes in and starts punching guys.
but it's quite interesting when we first get introduced to, like say, Captain Planet. You think, oh, he's just
Yeah,
going to be like a fight machine or do certain things. But when he goes up against, like I say, the rigger that kind of catches him in these little
yeah,
spider hands, and then he's going, I'm going to drill your chest and starts pneumatic drilling them in his
yeah.
chest. And Captain Rigger's are sitting there going, ha ha ha, that doesn't work. And he's like, Rigger's freaking out.
It
He's going,
tickles.
it's not happening. It's not doing anything. It's not helping. Uh, and then he just like ties it up in a bow because it's like Superman esque. And
Yeah, I've noticed as well, like when he first comes out, he just flies around doing nothing. He's just like taking a little victory lap, unless it's because he's been asleep for like so long. And did you notice his design, like his model was slightly off from what we get like his official model?
oh no, I didn't notice that.
He had no boots. It was
Ah,
just
right,
tights only,
right.
tighted feet on the screen.
He hadn't evolved to his booted version of himself yet.
No, they probably watched the pilot and they were like, "He's missing something. It's creeping me out." And they were like, "I'd give him boots, red boots. That'll fix it." But he had them later.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's like a weird guy. Like I say, he's kind of like pixie-ish looking. Like he doesn't really have like pointy ears, but he's kind of got like pointy hair and stuff.
Mhm.
It's very strange. He doesn't look model accurate to this toy. This toy looks ugly.
It's an interesting one as well because, as you said, you do get the law with certain things.
Hmm.
With can't get my words out now. Sorry, we do get the law with certain things. He goes over to the Planeteers and like, oh, they're like, we can help you, Captain Planet. He's like, no, no. When I've got your powers, your rings are useless now. What you
Yeah,
can do is go over there and help the animals, type thing.
yeah.
So he's even like before he starts fighting, he's directing the Planeteers to do some work. He like lazy little shits, go and get over there.
And like, and I guess they all hear his name and stuff because nobody really asks him what his name is. But when he comes out, he is like, "Your powers combined, I am Captain Planet." And then they're all like, "Go Planet," which is a funny catchphrase on its own, but it makes sense in the context of the show.
Um,
um,
this is
so yeah,
so
like
nice though. The so like
yeah,
you wanted to squish the faces and go, be mean, say something backhanded, but yeah.
yeah. Like the Wheeler does take pot shots at the bad guys every now and then, like has like puns for everyone. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, like Wheeler's like the flirt of the group, and he zeroes in immediately on Linka, the Russian girl,
Yes.
because he's just like, "It lovely accent, babe," and he like he calls her, he's like, "Nice job, toots," at one point.
Dear
And
me.
she's
Oh.
like, "You," what does she say to him, man? She's like, "Oh yeah," like later on, she calls him a sweet imperialist dog and stuff like that. They've definitely got like a antagonistic romance going immediately.
I think it plays out throughout from my memory, but again, my
Yeah.
memory could be shot from different things. But
I don't know how old they're all meant to be. It kind of feels like nebulous, but maybe it's like 14-ish or something, or maybe they're a bit older because they sort of have jobs in the community, like, doing environmental work. Um, but yeah, so like we were saying, Hoggish then turns his toxic waste hose that he has inside of his machine onto Captain Planet, and then he gets covered up and is immediately like, "Whoa." Um, but they basically just have to wash it off, and then
yeah,
he's okay.
that's how he basically survives everything. They just give him a bath. It's like he loves
Yeah.
having a bit of a sponge bath, does our captain? Um,
Sponge bath me, children.
sponge bath.
Gaia, help us. I can't help you.
I can't help you. Just give
I'm
him
back.
a wash. Give the filthy
I'm on.
superhero a clean.
I'm on Hope Island. I'm just a giant face in the clouds when they use the hot ring, I guess.
Oh,
Um,
she's such a
but
rigger.
yeah, so that's kind of it. Really dumps that rigger guy in the bin.
Hmm.
Because he doesn't litter, of course. So he puts
No.
the bad guy in a literal trash can.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, he just kind of smashes up the mech.
And then
And
Hoggish
then
greedily sneaks away in the pipes. He goes all get
he
like
does,
looking all
yeah.
evil and stuff. I'll be back
Yeah,
to
so
you, Captain Planet.
he's one of those guys with an unfortunate yet accurate name.
Hmm.
So does the name make a man? Possibly. Maybe this set him on his path to being pig-like. But
That's good. Yeah.
yeah,
How would you turn out if you were like, say, like a pig monster?
yeah. Like, is that why his parents named him Hoggish? Because he looked like a hog?
Dear me.
I think there is like some ancestors and stuff. I was looking at the wiki to see what all the baddies were called, and I think there is like
Mhm.
there is some time travel and some stuff where you meet like his grandfather and stuff, who's called like Pork Loin
Oh,
Greedley or
oh
something
God, dear
stupid
me.
like that.
I know. Like I say, with like to do the most obvious thing at the end as well, not just like the whole
Yes.
like He-Man message to be good kids, clean your bins and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
one of the things that they do, and I laughed my head off. It wasn't probably intentional laughing, like they were cleaning up the shores and cleaned up the animals, and one of them
Yes.
just goes, "It's." I'm so glad we got the powers back in our ring. It's so easy me cleaning up this mess with the powers. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. You don't have to point that out. Yeah.
But what's the fire guy gonna do?
Just burning the oil away. It's like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, I'll burn the oil. Yeah, but he's the one. I guess he's kind of like the voice of like the children a little bit because he's like, why are we help doing this? Like we don't get anything out of it. And that's when Linka's like, because we care, my
Mhm.
sweet imperialist dog. She says it a bit more nicer than that, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess Wheeler's like the immature one who needs to be like told why he's doing some of these things, but. He's an interesting character because you wouldn't think he's like a Planeteer type,
Mm. I
but he
think,
seems to care.
yeah, I
He's
think
learning at least.
that's the thing. I think he's got a nice heart. He's a good lad.
Mm.
You always need like a antagonistic type of role, like to play up
Yeah, you
against.
need someone who's going to question things every now and then, just to
Mm,
just to keep everyone on the
keep
same page.
keep on track. But yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, you're right though. We do get the He-Man PSA, like, what can you do to help your planet? Turn off your lights, walk places instead of getting public transport and all that stuff. Uh,
and to be fair, in these days, I reckon Guy is dead. Like say with like the modern day, like everything that's going on, like she's
yeah,
just giving up
fracking.
now. She's like, oh fuck this shit, fuck you, Earth. But yeah,
Um, but yeah, like you know what? It's a lot of the same messages people throw around today. Like when your office is like, "Oh, turn off your PC monitors. That'll help." It's like, yeah, maybe, but also check what those oil companies are
definitely.
doing. But yeah, so then we get the awesome song though. What
Hmm.
did you think of this?
We're the Planeteers. You can be one too.
Being the planet is the thing to do.
Uh,
It's a very white person rap.
yeah. It was interesting. I know you got
I
very
love the
excited when I
song.
posted it up on our
Yeah.
YouTube channel the other day. You were like, "Yes, okay, that's
And I
my
was like,
guy."
I'm gonna buy a Planeteers t-shirt.
But
That's what happens. They say you can be one too, and then they're handing out t-shirts to the children.
that's what we're trying to do with the nerdy cult as well. Hand out the shirts. But
You
yeah.
you couldn't buy nerd merch back when we were kids. It was like,
Hmm.
like it might have had Sonic on something or like
Or Batman,
Mario, but
Superman.
yeah.
Mhm.
But you couldn't get like logo t-shirts to sort of pretend you were the character, like, and they
Mhm.
didn't have like little outfits like how there's like Spider-Man outfits for children now.
Yeah.
We had to make our own.
No, definitely. The only again, you picked two cracking episodes because I think the first episode, as it sets the tone. The second
Yeah.
episode that you picked, what number was that? Because that was quite far in, wasn't it? It was.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure if it was like season 1 episode 10 or something, or maybe like in the 20 something.
It was in.
Seems like there was a lot of episodes.
It was in the later episodes. I was like, all right, then. So,
Yeah.
so we're going for a deep dive, but again,
26, yeah,
yeah,
episode 26 of season 1. Heat Wave was
yeah,
what it was called.
yeah. You picked another hottie, like say another a sexy villain, like Doctor Babs Blight or Barbara Blight.
Yeah,
Did
Dr. Blight.
Did you see who she was voiced by?
I saw I saw there was 2 voice actors, but I did see Meg Ryan, it might have been.
Voiced by Meg Ryan in 1990 to 1991.
Yeah, so maybe this was her still in season 1 because there's about 4 seasons, I think.
Meg fucking
Uh,
Ryan. That's it.
Co-starring with Tim Curry as well, like
Yeah.
as a little robot guy.
Well, one of the bad guys I noticed as well, Venomous Scum, was voiced by Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, no way, I don't remember what he's like at all.
Like how
Um,
these fucking characters. I was blown away when I was looking. I was like, "What?" I was getting that's
you know
not
what it
Meg Ryan. I clicked on it. It
you
actually was.
know yeah, you know what it probably was? It was probably because they told them, like, this is like an educational show.
Hmm.
So they were probably like, "This is a good cause that I can get behind. This is gonna look good on my CV," type of thing. Like, show that I'm not like a crazy pollutant monster. But yeah, so Tim Curry's in this episode as like the kind of snivelly computer husband to Dr. Blight, who's like a smoking hot, vaguely Nazi looking woman who's like an evil scientist.
Visually, how well was that done though? That computer imagery guy, because that was
It was
scary.
interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it was called Mal. He was called Mal.
Yeah, so like malware, is that what
Yeah,
they were going for or something?
possibly.
Or was it no, actually no, it was probably a HAL reference. It's got to be right.
Yeah, possibly. It said it was an AI husband and henchman to Dr.
Yeah.
Blight's.
Oh,
But
they were very flirty. There was lots of weird dialogue between them where she was called them like baby cakes and like honey child and stuff like that.
then there was a
She
bit
was
of
just so
domestic
weird.
abuse going on as well, though. Like she slapped him about
Oh
quite a
yeah.
few times.
I think he was into it
Yeah.
though. It was very much like his Nigel Thornberry voice, wasn't it? Like, "Ah, hello, it's me."
But again,
um
starting off quite brutal as well, because the idea is they're going to melt the polar ice caps and cause pollution, like physically,
the
not where she's basically saying, "Oh, I'm doing this for gain." No, she wanted to
yeah,
basically cause pollution and
to
to
like
damage the
destroy the
world.
earth. Yeah, and what they've figured out to do, which is pretty like it's pretty evil. It's up there with the evil plans. They've found Hope Island,
Hmm.
and they're gonna like encase it in a force field to create like a localized like extreme weather event just to see what's gonna happen to the rest of the world when she finally unleashes the full plan.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, this is like the proper mild peril episode because like Linka gets like taken out by the ship. Like they just chase her with the horrible boat and the ruined wind powers with some more mech claws. Um, And then she's like pretty much out of commission for most of the episode, either knocked out and try and burn her in the furnace at some point.
Well, they go quite brutal with her because they knock her out
Yeah,
on the windsurf, then bring her in, then she comes
they
in to fight.
physically knock her out as well. Like it's not like, it's not like, oh, she gets knocked over by a wave and then she's
No,
unconscious.
no, they
Like
get doink her on the head. She goes in and she goes to fight, but Dr. Babs or Dr. Blight isn't that stupid, where she fills the room full of smoke, and
yeah,
she tries to use her wind powers, and it's so polluted that she can't do it,
can't get the words
and
out, and then she just falls down the flight of stairs, like those metal stairs on the ship.
and then lands in loads of soot and coal. And then Dr. Blight runs on top of it and starts booting chunks of clothes, calls a landslide, which
Yeah,
encases her in like where you think, oh shit, like she's gonna die. But then
yeah.
she pops her head
I
out and
thought, yeah, I was thinking like, oh crap! Not only did they try and burn her in the furnace, like they've also buried her alive.
yeah,
But no, it's very much a whole like, if you can't use your arms because they're trapped now that you're buried,
yes,
you can't use that ring of yours.
no,
And I don't think that's how coal works. I think
no,
if you were like in a pile of something, you could probably
you
wiggle
wiggle, wiggle,
yourself
wiggle.
free. It wouldn't take too long.
No,
Um,
but
but yeah, so like that's kind of where the problem comes in, because if the Planeteers are cut off from one of the elements, then they can't call Captain Planet.
mm-hmm,
So the other guys have to kind of get in the sub and try and figure out how the hell are we going to get through this force field.
mm-hmm,
Um, and the only way they do that is because Dr. Blight's like, hang on, I've got the the pièce de résistance here. I'm gonna put a polar ice cap in with it, melt it, and then the water level's gonna rise and destroy Hope Island. And because she does that, they can sneak out of the
mm-hmm.
force field.
But then we've got Gaia who's kind of fallen asleep again or dying, shall we
Oh
say?
yeah, I
Because the
think
pollution.
she's dying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because the little one is keep going, no, don't die, Gaia, we'll save you. Um,
yeah,
and they use all the
good.
different like mechanisms and tricks that the rings do. But one of the things that does save it is when they communicate with whales. The
Yes,
whales it saves them there.
I wrote this down. I just wrote down like heart is Aquaman powers too. So it's like this is totally an Aquaman move. He'd be like, I need to move something really heavy underwater. Hang on a sec.
Get some motherfucking
um,
whales. But yes.
yeah. But yeah, so like this is them using the eco sub as well, which I
Mm.
guess is all like the jet, but a submarine.
Yeah, because the jet kind of
uh,
transforms into different things. Like in the first episode, they transform a jet into a boat, so they keep
right.
like
So it's a
pulling parts out. So
transformer.
it's like a transformer as well.
Yes, okay, I did remember seeing them like fannying about, and I was like, I'm not really sure what they're doing. They have to manually transform it.
With no
Um,
training, like I say, they've had no training. Remember, so they just know how to do
yeah,
this.
yeah. And yeah, sending kids on like an underwater expedition seems incredibly dangerous because they do almost like
Die.
crash and die because they ram into the force field at some point. Um, but yeah, so when they get on the boat to rescue Linka, you get some like I guess it's got to be intentionally funny
Mm-hmm.
moments. Um, one thing I liked was when there's a part where like they get her out and they're like running about the ship trying to find out how to escape or like take out Dr. Blight. And Linka just goes, "Look over there," and then like Dr. Blight's giant ass just comes into shot. And I'm like, oh, the animators knew what they were doing.
It's just
And
the
also
same animators
everyone's
that
in
were on the
swim.
Scooby Doo episode. I'm watching news.
Yeah, and also everyone's in swimsuits because it's so hot on the island.
Yeah.
Everyone was having a pal around in the swimsuits. But yeah, then they basically somehow create an oil slick that she trips on Dr. Blight, and then she slides on a giant ass all the way over a skate ramp that's put up against the side of the ship and just like gets dunked in the water.
Yes. But then she's kicking off with a robot Mal saying, "Why didn't you
Yeah.
do this?" And he's like, "I can't be everywhere at once." And he's like,
Yeah, like, "Why didn't you tell me there was kids on the ship?" And he's like, "I was starting the oil pump like you told me to."
"Oh, it was so like." Again, it's going proper dark with like the elements and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's I know it sounds bad saying it. It's when the bad guys are so interesting and so well done, it just leaves you a little bit flat when you get the Planeteers a little bit. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm not really bothered if yous come in and like have a kick about, and Captain the Planet does his little fly thing and starts quipping and little smart ass comments. It's like,
yeah, it's it's fun. It's one of those like it's one of those pitfalls you can get into, isn't it, when you're like creating stuff. It's like, have you accidentally made your villains more exciting than the main
mm,
hero? It kind of it happens in wrestling sometimes, and
mm.
it's definitely one of those fine lines to tread. And I think they try and get away with it in this because the villains are like so horrible. Like
There's
you
no
would never
redeeming
really want to
features. There's no redeeming
no,
features, none at all.
you would you wouldn't want to spend any time with Dr. Blight. You wouldn't want to be a
Well, you
henchman
say
because she
that,
would
but
nah, she would just murder you.
yeah,
Also, we didn't see it in this episode, but she's got like a messed up face under her hair as well, like a
yeah.
scar. But that's they probably didn't need that. I don't think to add to the character, and that just raises questions of like, so you think physical deformities mean evil? Do you like is that what we're playing with?
That's always got to be
Um,
the thing. But I think they were playing fast and loose with that in the 80s and 90s as well. So they probably would
yeah,
have got away with that. And probably not today, shall we say. That's probably why
yeah.
we haven't had a Captain Planet movie or anything like that.
I mean, there's a one where they go back in time and meet Hitler. So like they were trying stuff. I don't think anyone was keeping tabs on what Deke Entertainment was doing with the show. Because
But
yeah, like someone goes back in time to sell weapons to Hitler and they have to stop him. He has a handlebar
springtime for
mustache though.
Hitler.
Maybe Captain Planet like dunks him in the trash or something, like Superman would have done.
Oh,
But I did also write down another silly line because like Dr. Blight gets in like a speedboat, and this is kind of where she spends the rest of the episode, just kind of hanging out in a speedboat, like when she probably shouldn't have been. Um, and this is where they reveal the iceberg part of the plan, where they're gonna melt the iceberg and raise the water level and kill
mm.
Gaia. And like the line she says when because the computer jetpacks away off the ship, and he's like, "Oh, I hurt my slipped a disk drive,"
Oh,
type of thing.
God.
And then she goes, "Poor baby, would you feel better if I showed you my big surprise? Here it is." And I was just like, dude, these lines and the voice performance is like it's weirdly sexy at the same time, but nobody's like reacting to it, like none of the characters. So I guess you could argue like, oh well, we didn't mean it to be that. She just said it that way.
It's like, and it's Meg Ryan, so who's going to argue with her? It's like, I only do one take. I am Meg Ryan. I
Yeah,
am not doing two takes. This
it's
is how
gonna be
she says it.
scarily it's gonna be scarily sexy, and you're gonna like it. So yeah, the Planeteers just start pressing random buttons in the ship until we can try and turn the force field off, and it works.
But
Because
then,
we're running out of time here, like 5 minutes left in the episode.
so it's like, we put our rings together and Captain Planet to clean up the mess. That's what basically.
Yes.
But we do get almost like a telling off from Captain Planet in this episode as well.
Yeah, but also like you were saying, even more sort of caveats to like the powers and stuff. Like there's depth to these powers and things.
Mm.
But yeah, sorry, finish what you're saying.
No, no, like I said, I jumped in with that anyway. With Captain Planet, you get. No, I laughed. He's come down and like they're going, oh no, all the CO2's been burnt out. Like it's been released in the atmosphere. Can you fix it? He's like, I can't fix it, kids. That's why we've got to be careful. And what
Yeah,
type of gases or CO2 we burn into this? So then it points to the screen and goes, you can make a difference too. And it's like,
he
yes.
does, doesn't he? Like mid episode, he talks to us. Normally they save it for the end.
Does. So they went hard with this one. So yeah,
Yeah. Then he then he figures out like, there's not as much sun rays. So he kind of bends it through the light of the ice to like, I don't know, amplify it. He uses some prism
uses
tech. But
science,
like
bitch.
I guess so. Magnets. um but yeah, so then I wrote down he has uni beam also, like Iron Man's chest laser.
Literally, he's got
he
all
just
the powers. But if you just
he
cover
just
the
blasts.
sundial in the middle, he's fucked.
Yeah, but he just blasts through the force field, and
Hmm.
that creates like a tidal wave that dispatches Dr. Blight. Captain Planet doesn't really meet Dr. Blight in this episode.
No,
He just blows up our stuff, I think.
maybe because there will be two sexually charged characters put together, like Captain and
Oh
Planet and Doctor
yeah,
Blight, would just
they're
become.
like opposite. They're like opposites attract. Like
Yeah.
it feels so wrong, but why does it feel so right?
Start getting
Because
like
she's a full-on psychopath who is
yes.
bent on world domination through pollution. She has like a glee about like polluting that is very much like on the nose. Like I know there's like evil billionaires out there who are doing lots of polluting, but I think in their mind they're like, this is a necessary thing. They're not like, look at the toxic waste going into the ocean.
We have destroyed it all. This is our
But
fault.
she
Oh,
was like
yeah.
that.
Oh, the evil little bastard. But yeah, no, I I have to admit, I found the two episodes more entertaining than I thought I would. So,
Yeah,
I take back my Captain Planet trash that I've been throwing at
yeah.
them. I doff
You
my
might have
cap
liked
and
this one as
yeah,
you might have liked it as a kid.
well, probably not as a kid. I wouldn't have liked it as a
No?
kid. I wouldn't have understood it. I wouldn't have got the nuances. I would have went, "Oh, that's just a Superman rip-off, really, but he's blue." I wouldn't have
Yeah,
got all the different things. But look, like, probably as a teenager, I would have liked it more if it made it a little
yeah.
bit more edgy because the bad guys were really well done. And I know, like, if you look at like the opening clip of it and like all the different bad guys in it, they've got some like really cool looking people
Yeah.
that looks
One of
like.
them's just a mutant called Duke Nukem.
Again, you
Um,
kind of go wrong.
which apparently the video game people were almost gonna change the name, but then it turns out this Duke Nukem isn't copyrighted, so they just left it. But the spelling's exactly the same. That's just a hell of a name. They're like, I don't know, like they were on something with these names because it's like Hoggish Greedley,
Hmm.
Dr. Blight, Duke Nukem, like you said, Verminous Scum, Loot and Plunder. And
Oh,
then there's just some guy called Zom who's like the god. He's like the god of war to Gaia's god of peace, sort of thing.
weirdo. But
Oh,
the
sorry, in Captain Pollution because they're making
oh,
evil, and his sun logo's cracked in half like by the lightning bolt from the Rings of
we'll
Destruction or
need to
something
get
like that.
if anyone can find ever a Captain Pollution figure for Jake to fight with, so we can have that
Hmm.
on air live just to see
I
that
don't
magic.
actually know. I don't actually know what the toy line is like because I just had this, and
Hmm.
like we've said many times on this show, when you're a kid, you rarely know where any of your stuff comes from. Like you just get brought a toy. You don't know if there's more in the shop or what shop or city it came from. Like, your grandparents just bring your stuff back.
I'm just having a look, see if there's. Yes, there's a
See if there's
Captain
a
Pollution, but I'm not paying 250 quid for him.
No, you need a dirty one from like the Gateshead Toy Fair or
No,
something.
that is a dirty one. 250 quid. So,
No, we can't see, but that's vaguely seen outline. Okay. Well, so there's more things to collect. I can get a Captain Planet Duke Nukem figure at some point.
$300. No, not for today.
Oh, apparently there's someone called Sly Sludge as well, which is another General Claw. That's just from Marvel.
But yes, if anyone hasn't or is wanting to go revisit Captain Planet, don't be like I was and shitting on it without even giving it a chance. Give it a go because honestly, it's got good beats. It's got good lore, and I know it sounds
Mhm.
weird saying that. Yes, it is very. It is very much on the nose with certain things. It's not as preachy as I remember. I would say
And
it's probably
and
up
there
there
were
with.
and there were I was just gonna say they were right. Like, let's face it. uh,
Of course, hippie Jake would say that, but yeah. Like, with these, I'm surprised he hasn't tried putting his cap on again after it nearly killed him last time.
I don't know where I put
But
it.
yes, so yes, I don't have much more to say. I know, like you could go into like to certain depths and stuff. It is a very
No,
straightforward
yeah.
cartoon, drawn well. I will give it its
Yeah, like
credit. The animation is done right. There's
mhm.
not many dodgy scenes like we've had, like with the Turtles or Scooby Doo. Um,
Yeah, there was a few like there's definitely a few moments where you're like, ah, well, like, action's pretty hard to animate. The characters are just kind of running
Standing
about,
around
not
on
doing much.
pointless thing.
But yeah, but like what the faces are nice, like
Mm,
because like that was something that was kind of messed up on some of the cartoons you've watched, like.
mm.
But they had like unique faces for everyone. Like it wasn't just like the same like like cookie cutter. And I didn't see anyone flick into off model frames at any point. So yeah, well done. It definitely looked. It seemed like it might have been a bit on the anime side of like animation for the
Mhm.
90s. I didn't do like a deep dive on who animated it or I did. That explains kind of my leanings, I suppose, where I probably was like attracted to this show because of the sort of style, and then went on to like more anime. I've got like one question. Like, obviously, like everything at this point has been rebooted. Do you think they'll ever do something with this? Like, I don't even
Um,
know what you would do.
I think it's possible. There's like
Yeah,
it's an interesting story, and if people go back and I think if there's a need for it,
yeah.
um, it just depends on
I
how
think
they do
if
it. I think a live action or even like
I
a
don't think you could have a blue guy like superhero flying around and people. But like the company like Deke, like I feel like some of these old companies should probably do like an anthology thing where they just do like one new episode like of things people loved.
Mhm,
Like all the weirdo cartoons like Biker Mice and Street Sharks. Like just do like one more and
mhm.
just be like, here's a little anthology, like a little what are they up to now sort of thing. Because I think a lot of fans would prefer that rather than a full new series where you're like, well, I
Mhm.
don't really want to watch a whole new series of this.
No, definitely. I do think there's probably like potential there. It's just how they would go about it and what they could do. So,
It couldn't
um,
be dark and gritty though, could it? There's no way you could
I-
get away with it.
it depends because, as I said, the bad guys are so interesting. If they went hard, I think it could be
Yeah,
quite dark. It could be quite if they didn't want to make it like for kids. If they wanted to push the boat, this could be quite a
yeah.
scary horror movie. So,
But you know what they would probably do if it was a movie? They would probably like have Captain Planet be like the after the credits scene or something,
oh god,
they would wait so long to like
yeah.
bring anything in. You would just get the Planeteers, because
Mhm.
they don't just hand us everything these days. You have to
You've got to
have to
work for
watch
it.
like 6 movies.
You've got to work for it these days. But yes, so yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't say anything bad
Yeah,
about it other than
it
like I
was just
said,
it was a fun Saturday morning cartoon for
definitely,
sure.
definitely.
Like
So
it
well
was,
done,
it's in that
Jake,
genre.
for fighting the flag of Captain Planet and keeping it flying high.
You
Um,
always will.
but yes, so anyone who's watched these episodes so far, so thank you so much. We hope you have enjoyed it. Go back to watch the other ones.
Yeah.
And if you've listened to them, thank you so much as well. Um, it's one of those things with cartoons. We should put a question mark there. So we shall be return, but we do not know
Oh yeah.
when or do not know how, but we will be back.
Yeah, like one of those "the end?" question mark.
The end question marks.
But yeah, no, like seriously though, like I've had like loads of fun doing this, and we'll just call this like the end of season 1 while
Hmm.
we go on holiday and have a little break. Um, we'll definitely come back stronger and better
Hmm.
once we find some new cartoons to watch. But yeah, this has been like proper like little mini passion project series. And I think it's worked. Like it's been fun, and we got the episodes all from various sources, and
Hmm.
yeah, we've rewatched some stuff finally that I think most of us have been meaning to check out for a long time, and been like, so that's what it's like.
Been exciting,
Um,
and it's putting a smile back on the faces of nerds that needed
yeah,
smiles as well. That's the main thing.
and people keep popping up and being like, "Oh, well, I really like this," and it's like, "Well, you can be on an episode." Like last night, Sloop was saying that they really like cow and chicken. I was like, "Well, like there you go. Yeah, we'll pencil you in for the cow and chicken episode." And late 2024.
See what happens. But yeah, that'll be quite fun. I love Sloop. She's such a lovely character. Yeah. More Sloop, less Paul. That's what I say. But yes.
No. But yeah, so it's goodbye from Toons Up North for season one. We'll be back
Mhm.
once we've had a little rest. Because we've saved the planet now, so we can
Mm.
enjoy the beach on Hope Island.
And Jake can go on holiday and relax and like take his little Captain Planet with him as well, just in case anyone tries to pollute. You can throw them in the bin.
Round the world.
Round the round with Jake. But yes, in the immortal words of Porky Pig, that's all, folks. I didn't even need to put on the stutter anymore. Right, bye
Goodbye,
bye.
everyone.